Joining us now from TMZ is Harvey Levin. Of course, Harvey, you broke this Kobe Bryant story, which has become the biggest story in the world. I think a lot of people are curious about the process that went on at TMZ to actually break that news.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same process that any news outlet would use. We got a tip that this had happened, and we're not going to it was from somebody who would have been in a position to know this, but it wasn't enough for me or for the team. So we worked for a solid hour after, making a slew of phone calls. And I can tell you personally, others in the office as well, I was on the phone with various people in Kobe's camp and ultimately got it confirmed by them, and we posted the story. So they were part of multiple phone calls as we were working on all of this. So look, I'll ask you, Elex, because I haven't heard this from anybody. Is there any news organization that you've heard of that said we wouldn't have done it?
No, I think part of the controversy, though, is maybe some people, what about the other family members that were on that helicopter? And is it possible that they learned about this from TMZ?
Yeah, no. And I think it's a fair discussion point for sure. Now, the issue is, how long do you hold it? Because as far as I can see, the sheriff really just identified Kobe yesterday at the news conference. So exactly how long are they talking about? And the reality here is that every media organization in the world immediately jumped in the story and posted it long before any names came out. And all I would say to you is, look, Elex, you've been around now and you guys have covered plane crashes. And when a plane crashes and news outlets, yours and every other one, appropriately goes on television and says, my God, there was just this enormous plane crash, no survivors, and you'd say where the plane was going and even the flight number, well, you've just informed 300 people that their relatives were on that plane if they knew that they were flying. But you still do it, and you should do it because it's a news event, and it is exactly the same principle.
And in terms of the story itself, I mean, what an extraordinary outpouring of love that we have seen for Kobe Bryant himself. What's such an important figure to so many people, especially here in Southern California. You guys are so connected in so many ways. What have you heard in terms of potential memorials for Kobe, or what the city, the Lakers, others could be doing to honor him going forward?
There was a meeting, Elex, a couple of days ago, and they were talking about this. And the issue is, are they going to do it at Staples, which makes a whole lot of sense because, that's Kobe's place. And it would make a lot of sense to do it there. The problem with Staples is it only seats about 20,000 people. And there are going to be hundreds of thousands of people who are going to want to be part of this. I have no doubt about it. And the only real venue that makes sense would be the Coliseum. So they talked about it. They tabled it. They haven't made, no decisions have been made. I have been in touch with various people today. No decisions have been made so far. The family is dealing with a lot. They have not decided yet, as far as I know, as of this morning, they had not decided on the funeral, nor had they decided on the date for the memorial. But that will come, and it's hard for me to believe it's not going to. I don't know, because it makes so much sense to do at Staples, Elex, but God, I mean, so many people want to go to this. It seems like the Coliseum is the logical place.
And you think about those Lakers championship parades, and they did some of that at the Coliseum because so many people wanted to be a part of it. This isn't the only...
Elex, can I say...
Sure, go ahead.
Can I say one other thing? We've been around for more than 14 years, and this goes to why so many people would want to go to this thing. We have never done a story this big. And that includes Michael Jackson, that includes Prince, that includes every story we've ever done. There's nothing, actually, not as big, there's nothing close to the Kobe Bryant story. Nothing we've ever done in 14 years. And I think it speaks to the way he touched people who weren't into basketball, people who didn't care all that much. They are riveted by this story and the tragedy of this story and his daughter and just everything that's been going on, that, it just seems to me you're going to see one of the biggest crowds you've ever seen for a memorial in L.A.
And, of course, we're going to see a huge crowd at the Lakers game against the Portland Trail Blazers tomorrow night as well. There is other news. TMZ tonight has a special right here on Fox 11 at 8 o'clock about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, also a lot of attention on them. There's been so much written about them. What are we going to learn tonight that maybe we hadn't heard before?
I think a lot. I will tell you that, Meghan Markle has been ridiculed by some members of the British press and others for, they say, dragging Harry away from his family and away from his country. I think that is really unfair, and I think there's a measure of racism in that. But that said, I am convinced, based having done the special, that if Harry never met Meghan Markle, he would have left the monarchy. He never wanted to be a member of the monarchy. He was happiest as a grunt soldier in Afghanistan. And now that, and by the way, doing what they've done spells huge trouble for the future of the royal family. We're going to get into that. But the other thing is that they have to make their own living. So we have talked to people in entertainment who know a lot about branding, Ryan Seacrest, Mark Cuban, Lisa Vanderpump, Dr. Phil. And to a person, they all say that not only are they going to be enormously wealthy, they are the new Obamas. And that's actually the way it was put. And Mark thinks they will be billionaires soon.
And by new Obamas, that means speaking fees, right? That could mean a production company. That means book deals. That means a whole lot of things, because the Obamas have really become a giant entertainment force.
Absolutely. And Mark particularly, although, Ryan Seacrest said something so interesting that I had never really thought of, because Harry really is an adventurer and loves adventure and being out in the open. And he kind of suggested a Bear Grylls show. And at first I thought, really? And then I started thinking about it and I thought, that is not a bad idea. They have to balance the commercial side of what they do with the public service side of what they do, even though they're not really part of that family in the sense of where they were. It's still, they have to balance that. And everybody we talk to says the same thing here, because if they go too commercial, it's going to really screw up the brand.
Of course, one of the only interviews that Barack Obama has done since he left the presidency was with Prince Harry on a podcast. So maybe he'll be a broadcaster as well. Harvey Levin,
no, that's right.
Thank you so much. We want to let people know that special is right here on Fox 11. It's called Harry and Meghan, The Royals in Crisis. It's a TMZ Investigate special. And Harvey Levin, the man behind it, and the man behind breaking the biggest story in the world this week. Harvey Levin, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Elex, very much.